Hello, biochem students. This is Dr. Bower-Phipps walking you through how to do homework number 2 on restriction enzymes. So you're going to click on that document and it's going to take you to this location. The two websites that are going to be helpful for you today are neb.com, which stands for New England Biolabs.com. So I'm going to open that one up. This is a company that sells lots of restriction enzymes and other enzymes. So we're going to look for those restriction enzymes in their sites on here because it's nice and easy. And we're also going to use the reverse complement website here because you're going to need that to find your DNA sequences to cut. So I'm going to do 2 examples for you, and hopefully that'll give you a chance to try the rest of these on your own. So problem number 1, the restriction enzyme code, or its name, comes from the organism that it was originally found in. And neb.com usually gives its restriction site like this. So that's what it looks like on their website. But just to show you what that looks like, I'm going to search for AFE1. That's a Roman numeral 1 at the end. And if you just use the search button there, AFE1, it's going to bring up that restriction enzyme. And it's going to tell you that it recognizes the sequence AGC, GCT. This little notation right here tells you that it cuts right in between these two. So it recognizes a sequence that is 6 nucleotides long, and you can see that it's a palindrome, AGC, GCT. Its reverse complement would be AGC, GCT. See, it's the same forward and backwards. And that's where it cuts right in the middle. So that's what this notation looks like. And if we find that sequence in a piece of DNA, right, this is my very short piece of DNA, just to make it a little bit easier. To do this homework, you need to first make the reverse complement of this sequence. So I'm going to copy and paste this exact sequence into the reverse complement calculator. Copy and paste, and I want this reverse complement to be clicked. Then I hit submit, and it gives me the results here. So I'm going to copy and paste this right underneath my sample. I'm going to make this into a single with no space in between. So my double-stranded DNA looks like this, right? This is the copy that I originally had. This is what I have now. So AGC, GCT. Here's AGC, GCT going from the 5' direction to the 3' direction. All of these show it in the 5' to 3' direction. Now my reverse, right, goes 5' to 3'. I'm finding that same sequence now. Something wacky happened. Oh, whoops. What's going on? I don't want it to be a reverse complement. Sorry about that. I just want it to be the complement of this one because it's going to be pasted in that way. So reverse complement, scratch that. We just want it to be the complement so that it lines up with our sequence. So now let's see if this lines up better with our sequence. Sorry about that. There we go. Now A matches with T, T matches with A, blah, 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 blah. All right, so we can see that this is our AGC, GCT. That's going exactly like this. I'm going to underline it so you can see it in both. Now it cuts between the C and the G right in the middle. So I'm going to make that cut happen right there and get rid of those underlines. I'm going to make this cut and get rid of those underlines. So this is what it would look like after it cut. If this is the 5' end, now this is the 3' end of that one. And that makes this the 5' end of this, the 3' end of this. If this is 5', this is 3'. And if this is 3', then this is 5'. So these are the products that I get. I'm going to line them up because it cut on a blunt end. See how it cut that 6 right in the middle? So there's 3 and 3. So now I see 3 and 3, 3 and 3. This is the product for that DNA that got cut by that enzyme. Alrighty. Now let's take a look at number 2. This example is CLA1. So I'm going to search for CLA1 just to make sure that I did this. Why isn't that searching? CLA1 and NEB. CLA1 cuts at ATCGAT. So this little caret here makes it a little bit easier to see what's being cut. AT cut CGAT. AT cut CGAT. It shows you how it's cutting on both sides. So AT cut CGAT. So this is the DNA sequence that I'm working with here. So what I'm going to do is make the complement of this sequence. I just want the complement, not the reverse complement, so it stays in the right order. Complement. Here is my output. I'm going to copy and paste this here. And again, this is my 3' to my 5' end. All right, so I've underlined to help you this 6 sequence that is the CLA1 sequence, ATCGAT. Here's my ATCGAT sequence in the bottom half. Notice it's going 5' to 3' in this direction. This one goes 5' to 3' in this direction. It cuts after the AT. So after the AT, that's where I'm going to make my cut. AT, it cuts after the AT. So that's where I'm going to make my cut. On the other one, I lined them up because I had 3 and 3, but because this one has 2 and then 4, this is the sticky end. So 1, 2, and then it cuts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that were there from before. So this is my 2 that line up. T matches with A matches with T. The GC is there, but TA, I'm going to space this so that it matches. T pairs with A pairs with T. I'm going to make these single-spaced, remove the space so you can see exactly how they line up with each other. So this is my 3' end. This is my 5' end. This is my 5' end. This is my 3' end. You can see, I'm going to get rid of those underlines there. You can see that the underlined portions were the original sequence that got cut. There's a GC overhang. There's a GC overhang there, right? So these are my sticky ends. If these two ends were to come back together, those two could line up with those. So that's how this works. There are 2 examples. I want you to try this for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want you to try it for 6 or 7 more. I might take one off just to give you a little break. But good luck. Email me if you have questions.